The crowd is thinner than in the morning, I think. People are class kattadi ramari workshopping kattashtan. How many of you don't understand Tamil? Oh. Okay. So then I will be forced to talk in English. See, in any seminar or workshop, the most difficult session is one after lunch. But my presentation is going to be very informal. So let me at the outset tell you I am not your class teacher. Please. So you can ask me questions even when I am talking. Just raise your hand, that is good enough. You need not even have to stand and ask whatever question you have. So I will, in the next an hour or so, try to share with you some of my experiences and thoughts and anxieties about rainwater harvesting. See, you should not think rainwater harvesting is something people have invented now and so on. The other name for rainwater harvesting is water resource sustenance. You can sustain your water resources, whether it is surface water resources or subsoil water resources, only by harvesting rain or by collecting rain. Even harvesting maybe is a new word, by collecting rain. So it's essentially source sustenance, freshwater source sustenance. Anyway, so I'll start with two short movies in the light koncham. I will just start with two short movies. There's a small boy here who will enjoy the movie also. Film. Sir, unga teri jaan namak teri aad karenge. I don't take the credit for this. PowerPoint. Yeah, this is going to be my topic. My details. The important one is the website, which is raincenter.net, which has a lot of information about what we have been doing in the last 10 years or more. This is the photograph of the Rain Center in Chennai. This is nothing but an information and assistance center for rainwater harvesting. This is the first rain center in the entire country, and this was inaugurated by our Honorable Chief Minister in August 2002. Our Chief Minister, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. I forgot that I am in a different state now. Yeah. So what do we do at the Rain Center? We create awareness about rainwater harvesting among various sections of the society, starting from school children to college students, engineers, architects, builders, and so on. And then we also help people to implement harvesting in their respective houses. We have a set of trained plumbers and masons who will be deputed to the respective houses to design a system and also execute the work. We do it free of cost. We don't charge anything. I mean, of course, implementation cost will be charged. Advice comes free. We don't charge for our advice. And we carry out studies periodically to find out the impact of harvesting, what has happened after people have harvested rain, and so on. And these are some of the photographs that we have taken at the Rain Center. Yeah, a group of 10 students from Japan wanted to see the Rain Center and came down all the way from Tokyo. Some engineers and builders. Yeah, so we create awareness through these following methods. We have posters and panels at the Rain Center, which people can come and have a look. And we have working models to demonstrate how rainwater can be harvested in any apartment or a house. And then we have film shows every week on rainwater harvesting. And then we have a lot of books and journals. So these are the posters and panels at the Rain Center. This is a working model. Sloping roof, flat roof. These are film shows. Yeah. So far as implementation activities are concerned, we have given training to a lot of plumbers. And we have also given advice to a lot of institutions, houses, apartments, and so on. So this is an implementation activity that is being shown. A recharge well is being dug. Yeah, and then we distribute this kind of board to be put near the gate so that people will know that harvesting has been done in that particular house. Like this. Yeah, now let me go on to a few things about water in general. So we need water for all these various activities or daily activities. And when you go from top to bottom, the quality of water need not be the same. It has to be good for the first, then it has to be reasonably good for the second, and so on. And for the last, it can be even bad water. Then saline water could be used for toilet flushing. So what I am trying to emphasize is that we should learn to live with different qualities of water for different end uses. We should not use the same quality of water for everything. So that is the message here. And water, we also need water for agriculture, industries and power generation. And some interesting facts: 70% of our body is made up of water, 90% of our brain is made up of water, and so on. So we are all made up of water, essentially. So water is there everywhere. And water is also one of the 5 basic elements. We call them Panchabhutas. The other 4 are soil, fire, air, universe, and so on. See, our ancestors had worshipped the Panchabhutas. There are temples dedicated to these Panchabhutas, Panchabodhasthala, and so on. So our ancestors have done so much for water. We should realize all that. Yeah, when we talk of water and food, we always think food is more important. You should realize that water is more important than food. Well, you have to create food, produce food, you need water. Without water, there is no food. But we have taken water for granted. Because we have water in plenty. We think we have it in plenty. And therefore we take it for granted, we abuse it, we overexploit it, and so on. And another thing is, see, food can be produced, whereas water cannot be. Water will not be managed. The amount of water that you get every year is the amount of rain that you get every year. So that is the quantum of water that you get every year. And that will have to be managed. Yeah, you would have seen all this, though the earth is covered 2/3 by water and 1/3 by soil. It is all saline water in ocean, almost 95%. And of the 5% fresh water, 4% is in the form of glaciers and ice caps. And only 1% is available as liquid water, water as liquid. And that is distributed in the following way. So the important thing is, it's mostly available as subsoil water or groundwater. Therefore, managing groundwater is an extremely important activity. And if you carefully look at where do we get our water from, we get it from bubble tops, and then the municipal supply, we call it Metro Water Board in Chennai. And then the water is also supplied in tankers, and groundwater through wells and bore wells. So these are the 4 different sources of fresh water. Yeah. So if you look at water on earth, it can be broadly divided as water in ocean and water found on land. Let us, for the time being, consider only water on land. The sources for water on land is essentially melting of ice and rainfall. So these are the only 2 ways of getting water. Therefore we call them primary sources of water. And then that is collected in rivers, lakes, ponds, subsoil water, and so on and so forth. So they are all called secondary sources of water. So we should realize that rain is the predominant source of all fresh water on earth. And I am just talking about Chennai because I come from Chennai. So I will tell you how both Chennai and Tamil Nadu are not rain starved. Yeah. So before that, I will tell you, see, you must have heard about this hydrological cycle of water, right? Water evaporates from oceans and rivers and so on, forms as clouds and then starts pouring as rain. These have been described by some of the Tamil songs written about 800-900 years back. This thing called Thiru, which was written by Andal. So she says how water gets evaporated, goes and forms clouds. But our modern education has completely ignored all that. We don't give any importance to any of these. Any book on groundwater or any book on hydrological cycle will never mention all this, which is unfair to say the least. Because they have done everything, they have understood water to the core. And Thiru, I don't know, you must have heard about Thiru, poet Thiru, who wrote about 10 couplets on the importance of rain. Yeah, this is what I was trying to tell you. Chennai's area is 174 square kilometers. And the average annual rainfall of Chennai is 1.3 meters. So if you multiply these two, you get this quantity, this huge quantity. And then if you divide it by the population and also by the number of days in a year, the answer that you get is something like 124. It's nothing but 124 liters every person in Chennai can get from rain alone, every day. So it's called liter per capita per day. So that is the potential of rain. So we should try to harness, or collect, or harvest. We are talking of rainfall. We get rain from two monsoons. One is the southwest monsoon, June to September, mostly in western, northern and central India, and northeast from October to December. And India is quite unique. It has the highest rainfall area and also the lowest rainfall area, I think, in the entire world. You must have heard about Serapunji, which receives 12,000 mm of rain every year. And the region of lowest rainfall is also in India, which is 50 millimeters. Rainfall in India is not uniform, it varies in space and time. Number of rainy days in a year varies from 5 to 180 days. Yeah, I'll just skip all this because I'm talking about Chennai. Yeah, so now let us consider the urban scenario. What is happening in all our cities in this country? We have floods during monsoon and drought during the rest of the year. These are some pictures of floods. And this is what we see during summer months, or during drought, or during non-monsoon months. Yeah, if you carefully analyze the reasons as to why floods occur, you will realize that there are only two reasons for city to get flooded. One is the shrinking of open spaces. Right? We must have had a lot of ponds and lakes in every city. What we do is we fill them up with garbage and construct a college or an office or a bus stand or a collector's building and so on. So as a result, that pond is lost forever for collecting rainwater. And another important activity is this indiscriminate paving that we are all fond of. We want to pave everything all around us with cement or bitumen. So rain does not find even a square inch of soil to percolate down, and therefore it floods. On the other hand, drought is because of overexploitation of water resources, and water has been taken for granted, particularly by the urban residents, not so much by the rural. This indifferent attitude towards water and this lack of awareness that groundwater is nothing but rainwater. People think groundwater is different from rainwater. So both these problems, according to me, can be solved if only we learn to harvest rain. Yeah, this is the textbook definition of rainwater harvesting. We say collecting rainwater when and where it falls during non-monsoon months. And we should also feel proud that Indians were the world leaders in rainwater harvesting. There are evidences to show that Indians had harvested rain something like 5,000 years back. We have lost all that wisdom. 3000 BC in Gujarat, called Dholavira, there are evidences to show that rainwater was harvested. And these are the water harvesting conduits that they had made in Dholavira. If you go to Google, you will find all these details. Yeah, and Indians had harvested rain in different ways depending on the amount of rainfall, the soil conditions, etc. So every part of India had its own traditional rainwater harvesting systems. And these have been very well documented in a wonderful book called Dying Wisdom. I think you should buy one for your library. It has been published by the Center for Science and Environment, New Delhi. So they talk about the traditional water harvesting systems that existed in India. Yeah, I will just mention a few traditional harvesting systems that existed in different parts of India. Rajasthan, which you think is a desert state, but they had the best rainwater harvesting systems, let me tell you. They had different systems for collection of rainwater, they had different systems for recharge and so on, called talab, nadis and so on. So this is a rainwater harvesting structure that you find all over Rajasthan on the sides of roads. And beautiful. These are called joe heads. And groundwater bodies are, see, this is a lovely step well. See how beautifully they have constructed it. And you see water at the bottom. And water will probably rise after monsoon. And you can draw from different levels. These are something like our open wells. Then Gujarat had similar structures. Bihar, even though river Ganga passes through it, and it's a very fertile state, they still had wonderful rainwater harvesting systems. Right. Yeah. So why should we harvest? What is the need for harvesting rain? So these are the three important reasons. One, rain is the, as I said, the predominant source of fresh water. Number two, we do get rain, therefore let us harvest. Number three, it rains only for from 60 to 90 days in a year. But we need water throughout the year for all the 365 days. So unless we capture this rain that falls during 90 days, we will run out of water. Therefore, we should harvest rain. And it's not a new technology, as I said in the beginning, nor an alternative, but the only way to get fresh water. Yeah, I'll just take you through the ages. You can divide the entire past into three time periods. One from the day when the earth was formed up to 3000 BC, and from 3000 BC to 1800 AD, and from 1800 to, it should be 2014, so 2005. So during the first time period, rain was getting harvested without human intervention. That's the most important thing. So it simply flowed in rivers. And therefore, people decided to settle down on the banks of rivers, because they knew they could get water throughout the year. And that is how our river valley civilizations flourished, starting from Indus Valley and so on. So civilizations flourished on river banks all over the world because they had water there in the river. During the second time period, rain was harvested also with human intervention. In addition to getting harvested in a natural way, it also got harvested with human intervention. Indians harvested rain using different methods, as I showed you. Yeah. Coming to South India, what was the traditional harvesting system that existed in South India? So this is called the Erie system. Erie is a Tamil word. So this is a chain of tanks. There are still about 150,000 such. They are called irrigation tanks also in English. Such tanks in entire South India, in all the three states put together. Maybe in Pondicherry also. And most of them are interconnected. When one tank gets filled up, the overflow will go and fill up the neighboring villages' tank and so on. So not a drop was wasted. See, this is a drawing of an area. This is the water spread area, and this is the catchment area on top, and this is the paddy fields. So these are doors which are opened every day in the morning and closed in the evening. So water will flow through this throughout the day and harvest these lands. And this is an important point here. So this is called the overflow point. When the area gets filled up, the overflow runs off only through this point to the neighboring villages, tank and so on. I'm sure you must have some areas in Pondicherry also. As part of your course, I think I request Sodalai to take them on a Pani Yatra, at least once a year, to take them in a van and show them what are the traditional water.